Factsverse presents. This 82-year-old's obituary is so savage it left her son speechless. Cornelia June Rogers Miller preferred to be called June. She was born in Morton, Mississippi in 1934. Later, she moved to Gainesville, Florida, and then, along with her husband Robert and their son Robert Jr., they moved to High Springs, Florida. After settling in High Springs, June had two daughters, Suzanne and Marilyn. She lived the rest of her life in High Springs, and she had 9 grandchildren and 6 great-grandchildren. At the time of June's death, she had another 2 great-grandchildren on the way. While June and her family settled down in Florida, they loved North Carolina. They loved it so much that they owned a summer home in Murphy, North Carolina, which is located in the Blue Ridge Mountains. They'd visit the location whenever they could. When Robert retired, he and June would go to Murphy all the time. They also went for one weekend during the winter. In 2016, the couple sold their mountain retreat, and those happy trips came to an end. They decided to sell because the 6-hour drive from High Springs to Murphy was just getting to be too much for the couple. As their health began to fail, they moved into an assisted living facility where they shared a room. Sadly, the couple who'd been in love for decades were separated for good when June passed away. According to her son, June was 82 years old when she died, and the cause was a variety of complications. The whole family mourned the loss of June. A few months after her death, her obituary appeared in the Cherokee Scout, which was one of the local North Carolina newspapers. It's based in the couple's beloved town of Murphy. An obituary is written by somebody who was close to the deceased. They're designed as a tribute to the person who passed away and the things that they had done during their lives. An obituary also will detail what was important to the person who passed. The obituary serves as a published eulogy, so many family feel that it's important to convey their loved one's personality in the obituary. Many also like to express their sorrow at their loved one's passing, even giving thanks to the time that they spent together. A well-written obituary will help strangers get to know the person who passed. Overall, an obituary is supposed to focus on the positive aspects of a person's life. Sadly, June's was the exact opposite. This 82-year-old's obituary is so savage it left her son speechless. And to make matters worse, Robert had no idea who was responsible for writing the obituary. He assumes it had to come from somebody that was close to his mother, possibly his sisters, Suzanne or Marilyn. The obituary started ordinary enough. It mentioned her full name, her date of birth, and her hometown. It also mentioned that she died on February 23, 2017. The date was correct, but the fact that it took the Cherokee Scout 4 months to publish the obituary, that was odd. This wasn't the only thing that Robert Jr. found strange. In most obituaries, the cause of death is mentioned. For June's obituary, it read, "She died alone after a long battle with drug addiction and depression." Well, at first, Robert Jr. thought they had the wrong person. In the obituary, it listed the places where June had lived and mentioned Murphy as a place where she had spent her summers. That information was correct, so that left Robert Jr. confused. In the next section, her 3 children were mentioned. It also read, "Each child had 3 children, brighter and more attractive than the generation before them. All 9 are a testimony to a life well lived." It was the next few parts of the obituary that left Robert Jr. both shocked and livid. It read, "We are thankful for the life that was issued forth because of June. We wish she could have appreciated the abundance of life she was given. She did not contribute to society and rarely shared a kind word or deed in her life. Drugs were a major love in her life, as June had no hobbies." The author of the obituary hinted that June's story should be a cautionary tale for all. Robert was now beyond angry. As if what Robert Jr. had read wasn't bad enough, the obituary continued and got worse. One especially harsh section read, "We speak for the majority of her family when we say her presence will not be missed by many. Very few tears will be shed, and there will be no lamenting over her passing. Her family will remember June, and among ourselves we will remember her in our own way, which includes the sad and troubling times throughout the years. We may have some fond memories of June, and perhaps we will think of those times too, but we truly believe that at the end of the day, all of us will really only miss that we never had a mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother. We hope she's finally at peace." And at the end of the obituary it read, "Goodbye, Mom." When the obituary was published, many were outraged. Robert Jr. was furious and he wanted to know how this obituary made it past the editor. According to the editor, the family's wishes outweighed the editor's opinion. Robert Jr. decided to submit another obituary for his mother, one that reflected the way he looked at her as a kind and loving person. He hoped the new obituary would fix things. Robert Jr. thought the whole obituary mess was behind him until he heard that it popped up in a California newspaper. Robert was sure that it was his sister who was responsible for the obituary, and later he learned that she had copied it from a woman named Dolores Aguilar. Robert made sure to write something beautiful for his mother, which he did when he mentioned that his mother was a devoted military wife and homemaker. He also mentioned her delicious lemon pound cakes. He's disgusted by what his family did with the first obituary. And I can't say as I blame him. Subscribe for more.